Welcome again to another edition of Letters with Luster. I am Harvey Luster. Now, most of you know who I am. You know what this segment is. You see, this is a segment where you contact Harvey Luster with questions you have. Whether it be through your tweets, through your emails, through your Facebooks, whatever, you reach out to me and I try to answer them. Now, for some of you who have just noticed Harvey Luster on the Facebook or out on the Twitter, and you're going, wait, who is this guy? How do I reach out to him? Well, Harvey Luster has answered previously. Who is Harvey Luster? Harvey Luster does not like repeating himself, so I advise you to go back and look for a previous episode of Letters with Luster for the answer. If that does not assist you, find the nearest lady. Ask her who Harvey Luster is. All the ladies know Harvey Luster. All the ladies love Harvey Luster. Now, as far as reaching out to Harvey Luster to ask me questions, you can hit me up on the Twitter. You can send me the tweets at LusterHarvey. You want to catch me on the Facebook? Find me under the main name Harvey Luster, because that is the illustrious was one name, Harvey Luster. If you are unsure on the Twitter or the Facebook, if you have found the original, the real, illustrious, industrious, infamous, lover of ladies, Harvey Luster, just look for the image of the illustrious one. That will tell you that it is the official channel of Harvey Luster. You can also reach me via email at illustrioushl@gmail.com. And remember, anytime that you want to post tweets or on the Facebook want to put something that you think is important enough to catch the attention of Harvey Luster and the world in general, hashtag for the ladies. Now, on this edition, we have to condense a little bit. The illustrious one has so many emails, so many tweets, so many Facebooks, because GenCon is coming up. GenCon starts tomorrow. Many of the competitors for the legendary Fighting Federation have already set their travel arrangements and have already set out for Indianapolis. Now, the illustrious one is going to be entertaining some of his ladies over the next few days and will be attending on Saturday. Will not be able to make it days prior to that because, of course, Harvey Luster always has to worry about doing things for the ladies. But Saturday, the luminous one will be gracing the ladies at GenCon with his presence. Now, this list that I have here written down is a condensed list. Many of the questions that I saw repeated over and over again. As I cannot respond to each of your requests individually, we're going to try to get the most common items and get them out there to answer as many at once as possible. So the first one I have is, Mr. Luster, why did you challenge Mr. Rager to a match? Well, the illustrious one did not make a challenge. Harvey Luster did not openly put that challenge out there. But the comments that Harvey Luster made has ruffled the feathers of Mr. Rager. And Mr. Rager, being the man that he is, stood up and said, hey, I respect that you've come out here and you have rebutted some of my comments and you have kind of put a challenge out there to say in a manner, and I kind of accept that. So Harvey Luster would love to have a match against Mr. Rager. That would be a very, very strong prospect indeed, because if Mr. Rager wants to prove the strength of the Kings, who better to prove his strength against than the luminous one, Harvey Luster. Now, Harvey Luster can prove to the world how good Harvey Luster is, because Harvey Luster is not challenging someone because he wants to. Harvey Luster is fighting the match that the ladies want to see. So I will have a match against Mr. Rager for the ladies. on to another part of that, the condition that Mr. Rager has said, I would like to challenge you autograph for autograph. Well, that's fine. The illustrious one doesn't really care if that's what you want to do. But the illustrious one does not care so much about other dudes' autographs and signatures. So that's perfectly fine, but the illustrious one feels like that's something that neither of us really care all that much about. Perhaps Mr. Rager would like to put something up that he actually cares a little bit more about. Harvey Luster would like to put something up to where he could be fully motivationalized for the match, to put on the best match possible. And Harvey Luster feels like maybe the man that calls himself greatness should put up something that will also fully motivationalize him, something that means a little bit more to him. Possibly that KSW Bluegrass title that he has recently acquired. Now, I understand you may be nervous to do such a thing, but bear in mind, if the KSW Bluegrass title leaves Indianapolis with Harvey Luster, he will treat it like he treats his ladies. He will treat it with the ultimates of care. And it will never be that far away. If you feel like you missed your KSW title, you can always come for the visitations. It'll just be a couple of hours away. And Harvey Luster would be glad to invite you up to Louisville for visitations with your little title. Now, what does Harvey Luster intend to put up in this match that means so much to him? Well, Harvey Luster has something that, as you can see, he keeps under lock and key. This particular item, this is Harvey Luster's List of Ladies, Volume 17. Now, as I said, the illustrious one does not care so much about the autographs of other dudes, but the ladies. We have here a very, very strong list of ladies. Now, I know what Mr. Rager is thinking. Why would I care about this list? Well, this is Volume 17, and Volume 17 is particularly special. If we turn to page 43 here, in Volume 17, I have this bookmarked for you. We will see a very familiar name. In fact, for all the people claiming to be champions, claiming to be great, claiming to be kings, we have here the name of a champion, a GenCon champion, and someone who is a queen. Quite interested, Mr. Rager. This does look a little bit like your home phone number. So, you can believe what you want to believe with that, but Harvey Luster believes that you may like to acquire this item and remove it from my personal collection. Now, on the other business. We have questions here about the GM, Mr. Lates. People say, what is all this going on with GM Lates? Well, over the last year or so, maybe more, people have decided that the GM, well, the man, has been partial to the Kings. He has done things that have put into question his integrity. So, they're calling him out on that and declaring that they can do a better job. That is fine if they believe they can do a better job. That is between the GM and them. Now, another thing has occurred, though. With part of his actions that have put him in this condition of being suspect. Some of his actions have been aggressive toward the Woolly Bully and other members of the New World Order. One of these in particular, recently, was the release of the Ambush. We've all seen the release of the Ambush. You can pre-order and either have that sent to you or pick that up at GenCon. Or you can wait and you can get your orders in individually for cards and sets afterwards. Now, there was a new competitor who was supposed to be released with this series. This was the Lady Baba. Now, Lady Baba is the significant other of the Woolly Bully. She is his little Bo Peep. When he discovered that her image was not included with all of the other images on the Facebook post, on the websites. He got concerned. He did reach out to the GM, to Mr. Lates, and say, hey, why do I not see my lady included in all of these new cards? And the GM blatantly said, unless I receive some sort of apologies from the New World Order, I will not be releasing the Lady Baba. Well, this has not sat well with the New World Order. This has been the escalating factor that has really driven the New World Order to start the campaign we have started. Our initial intention was to call into question the integrity of the kings, to show that the kings do not rule supreme. The kings can fall. There is other strong competitors out there. There's individuals such as the Luminous One, such as the Woolly Bully, such as the Steel Wool, that are in the New World Order, and we are strong competitors within the LFF, and we are willing to travel and have matches. We will come to you. We will show you our strength. Win or lose, when we walk away, you will know you have been in the match of your life. Now, the KSW, the Kings, have jumped in, saying the Woolly Bully has disrespected the GM with some of this. Well, this is not necessary. Not at all. The GM does not need their help. At all. GM Lates is a businessman. The man has like a degree in business. He knows how to take care of business. He just needs to keep his nose in his business and out of the New World Order's business. Now, I've also received a question. What is with all these strange promos? What is with all these blacked out, dark, no lights promos? Well, you see, the Mr. Taft and the Mr. GPS, I believe they may be roommates. They both seem to be experiencing some electrical issues. And this is extremely disconcerting, because I have reason to believe that the GPS, the Devil's Reject, the Devil's Reject may be an epileptic. I believe the man is having seizures. We see that he's got electrical issues. The lights be flickering off and on, and he be bumping into walls and stumbling all over and giggling. Obviously, he's a lunatic, so he believes it's humorous. It is funny to him. But there is absolutely nothing humorous about being epileptic and having seizures because of bad electrical issues. But we have obviously seen Mr. Taft have issues with the GM, just like many others, but being that he is a previous champion, was very vocal, outspoken about it. We didn't see him at home shortly after some of the electrical issues that the Devil's Reject was having, and Mr. Taft's lights are out. We didn't see the Devil's Reject again, and his lights are out. Then when his lights finally do return, they begin to flicker, and we see him start to seize again. And this is extremely troubling for me. The man does need help. While he is away at the GenCon, somebody needs to reach out to somebody to get an electrician in there to fix the issue, to make sure the illumination of his loony bin is safe to man, because he is an epileptic. Now, we've even seen friends of his over to his house. We saw the King Cold rolling dice, playing the Super Show with the Devil's Reject. They was using a cell phone with the picture of the GM and some candles to illuminate the house. This is troubling to me also, because I understand they call the man King Cold, but how cold can you be that you do not seek out electrical or medical help for your friend? Now, while I am on this subject, the King Cold, Harvey Luster is many things, but the one thing that everyone knows Harvey Luster is a lover of the ladies. Everything Harvey Luster does is for the ladies. Hashtag for the ladies. Now, it's extremely, extremely upsetting to Harvey Luster to hear the King Cold get on camera and say out loud, I had to beat my wife. No, Mr. King Cold, you did not have to. You chose to. And this is not okay. It should all be for the ladies. Your lady should not have to deal with the domestic abuse. This abuse is just not a good thing. So, as far as that is concerned, King Cold, I know why they call you Cold. But I will warn you that given the situations with the New World Order, with gentlemen like the Harvey Luster, and gentlemen with ladies at stake, like our own little Super Mario, the Wooly Wooly. We have champions of the women, champions of the feminine wilds within the New World Order. You, sir, are a marked man. If you raise your hand to a lady at the GenCon, you will find yourself covered in a dog pile of wool, because the New World Order will come down on you. Now, the last piece I have. This is kind of just a general statement out there, I guess, but everyone seems to think that the Kings, the Three Kings, is cool. All the KSW, they is cool. They the greatest. But Harvey Luster has noticed they go around throwing up their fingers, throwing up their hands. Well, when you count to 3, you can count 1, 2, 3. You can count 1, 2, 3. That's how most people throughout the world count to 3. But this, for most people who don't know, this is actually a symbol that is used in some forms of sign language that refers to someone as an a-hole. And that's just really not cool to me either, that the Kings have been, for the last several years, GenCon and everywhere else, posting photos publicly, telling the world exactly what they think of all of us. And the GM Lates has been photoed, I believe, with them, doing the same thing. Is that really what you all think of everyone? You are given the universal sign that you think we are all a-holes. Well, that kind of tells you everything you need to know about the Kings. They do believe they are supreme. They believe they are above all of us. They believe that we are all a-holes. And they're telling us, every time they see us, hey, this is what I think of you. So, the lustrous one has given you something to ruminate on that may illuminate you just a little bit. Think about this for a bit. And then you can consider that, in some ways, the lustrous one even believes that the Kings has stolen his own signal, because they have just turned it in the other direction. Everyone knows the sign that the lustrous one uses. Everyone knows about the Bargazer, because that is my signature. I'm not offended that they have stolen my signature. I feel flattered by that. That the lustrous one has been mimicked and copied. But you don't have to go around calling everybody a-holes to get the job done. So ruminate on that a bit until it illuminates in your cranial mindset. And the lustrous one will continue reading your tweets and Twitters and Facebooks and your mails and trying to provide you answers. And for those already at GenCon, I will see you soon. Good night. And remember, always remember, for the ladies,